Fearlessness to her devotees. The left deal out death and destruction. Her garland is 50 several heads. Each head represents a letter in Sanskrit alphabet. She is standing on her divine husband Shiva with her right foot on his chest. Shiva is very white. She is stark black. Is the perfect union of the opposites. The puja includes certain rituals. The priest, the pujari, has to invoke the divine within himself. He has to become the divine to be able to offer to the divine. He has to think of himself as the God and then offer himself. The deities are taken care of with utmost affection, like one would for one's own child. We wake up in the morning as any one of us wake up after a good night's sleep. We'll give her a bath, we'll give her fresh clothes, we'll give her food, we'll comfort her and allow her to rest for a while, and then again in the evening we'll offer the final of the day's prayers and let her go back to bed.
The presence is beyond image. The ultimate experience is imageless.
For centuries, a secret confederacy of assassins haunted these dark paths, preying on native travelers. In time, their mysterious rituals would become legendary, and their name would inspire the passage of a new word into the English vernacular: thug. In the early 1800s, British interests began pushing to consolidate imperial control over India.
India was at that point not directly ruled by the British Crown. It was governed by the East India Company, which was a mercantile trading company. What we call the British Empire in India was still very much in the process of being formed.
Even after 2 centuries, the British presence had done little to change the fabric of Indian society. An array of castes, religions, and tribes spread across a vast and mostly unknown territory. Many areas were still characterized by lawlessness and banditry. To make India safe for colonization, the British first had to establish law and order.
There were lots of reasons for this. Of course, one of them was to permit the free flow of revenue across the length and breadth of the empire.
But as the British moved deeper into the subcontinent, they started hearing a disturbing tale. For as long as anyone could remember, thousands of travelers a year seemed to have disappeared on India's desolate roads.
It took a long time to travel between one town and the next, and most of the merchants would be selling their goods would have to travel long distances and take 4 or 5 months before they came back to their original village. Quite often, people didn't return.
In hushed tones, people began speaking of a deadly underworld, an ancient fraternity of assassins known as Thuggy, or as the British came to call them, the Thugs. The earliest accounts of the Thugs date back to the mid-1300s, centuries before the British arrived in India. Derived from Thaglana, the Hindustani word for deceive, the name reflected the ability of these killers to lure their victims into a state of vulnerability.
that they joined bands of travelers, posing as travelers themselves or as merchants, and this was meant to establish a certain kind of respectability.
Over the course of several days, the thugs would befriend their fellow travelers, eating and drinking with them and gaining their confidence. Only then would they strike.
One tug would distract the victim, and the other one would go behind with a yellow scarf, symbolic yellow scarf, and strangle them.
The scarf, called a rumand, was a symbol of the thug's devotion to the Hindu goddess of destruction, Kali. In images and icons, Kali is portrayed as a ghastly and ghoulish demon.
Kali remained always for the British imagination very much a figure of the terrifying alienness of India. She is represented with a garland of heads around her neck and with various kinds of instruments of destruction.
The thugs used the myth of Kali to justify their preferred method of killing, strangulation. According to this myth, a monster once tried to devour the world. Kali attempted to slay the beast with her sword, but for every drop of blood shed, a new demon would spring forth. Since Kali herself could not keep up with these demons, she created two men.
This final outdoor scene is a tantric fire ceremony invoking Kali in the fire. The fire becomes all one's actions and offerings go directly to Mother. This sacrifice provides a spiritual cleansing and renewal. Total internal surrender of one's own flesh is all that is essential.
Thank you.